Welcome to Alpha, the city of 1,000 planets.
Alex, can you update us?
I'd be delighted to. The Alpha station has grown 7% this year. And since it left the terrestrial orbit, it has traveled almost 700 million miles.
Population?
Almost 30 million. 3,236 species from the four corners of the universe live on board, pooling their knowledge and cultures. Over 5,000 languages spoken, not counting the various computer languages.
That was a clip from Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets, and I am delighted to be joined by the film's writer and director, Luc Besson. Hello, sir.
Hello. I love your accent.
I love yours. Thank you very much. No one ever says that. Normally they can't understand me. Can we start by, can I ask you to describe Valerian for me?
Oh, there's a few lays.
Yeah.
The first one is Valerian and Laureline. They're two cops. It's Starkey and Hutch in space, basically.
Yes.
So they fighting aliens, and the little story of the film is, did the guy's gonna get the girl? Because he's in love with her, but she's very old-fashioned. She's very like, I want one man, kids, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. I know what you're like.
Which is very funny in the 28th century to be so old-fashioned. That's Cara. She played that very well. And then there's the bigger story, which is 28th century, full of aliens, 8,000 different kind of species, 5,000 different kind of languages, living in one space station called Alpha. And then there's a big drama, there's a big trauma, and our two cops are investigate and try to resolve the problem, because there's charming people called the Pearls, who are divine, so beautiful and gorgeous, and they get killed. And we don't know exactly why, and we have to discover it. And it's a sad story in a way.
There are many, many layers to the film, and I kind of feel I want to see it another 5 or 6 times because, you know, it's a real sensual experience. But for you, this has been a real personal experience because these comic books are Valerian and Laureline are something you grew up with that were so precious to you.
Yeah, because I discovered them when I was 10. At 10 years old, every Wednesday, I have this little comic book and 2 pages of Valerian. And I was coming back from school and do my homework first, clean my table, put my magazine, and then turn it, you know, very slowly and going took like every little drop of the fruit. And then I have to wait 6 days. You know, no internet to tell me how it's end or
No trailers, teaser trailers.
no trailers, nothing. You just have to wait and imagine. And I think that the pleasure at the time, the pleasure to imagine for 6 days was even bigger than the 2 pages, in fact.
It's a great exercise in kind of using your imagination and on a regular basis.
Imagination and desire.
Yeah.
That we lose now. Now we snap up and then we have it.
Yeah. To be here now, though, those number of years later, and your film to be released from this world that you fell in love with as a 10-year-old boy, how does it feel that that's now being shared with the world?
It's almost like a loop is over. You know, I'm so thrilled that we finally made it. It's very difficult. I mean, you can imagine doing this kind of film in the middle of Marvel and DC Comics, you know, where they really got the entire attention of everyone. So it's very probably courageous also.
Yeah.
But I'm so happy that the film exists because no matter what, he's here now. And then you can watch it tomorrow. You can watch it in 10 years. And I meet every day people who talk about The Fifth Element or Leon or The Big Blue. And I'm so lucky that my film's still alive, you know, after many years. So I can't wait to be in 20 years and be very old and watch Valerian again.
There's a connection with some of those old films as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the creators of the comic you worked with on Fifth Element, who was part of your team on Fifth Element.
Yeah, he was he's a Mézières, Jean-Claude Mézières. He works on it. On the Fifth Element, he make a lot of drawings, the yellow cabs and a bunch of stuff. And he's the first one, in fact, 20 years ago, who tells me, Luke, why are you doing this stupid Fifth Element thing? Why you don't do Valerian? You say you're in love with it. And I never thought about it, in fact.
You hadn't thought about it?
No,
until
at the
that point?
time, no. It was just a part of my childhood, and that's it. So I went back home and watched it again.
Yeah.
And I came back to see him and I say, I know why I didn't do it. It's because it's impossible. There's 2 characters and 1,000 aliens, and we cannot do it. Even technically at the time, it was not possible. So we have to wait for the technology to be ready, and for me to be ready, because I was a young filmmaker and my experience were just like slow, and I have to learn.
And did you work with him and Pierre on did you collaborate with them at all on this on the film?
They almost 80 years old now, so it's they don't work every day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I give them the first draft and all the drafts one by one. And Christin say one day to me, because I want to be so faithful with them.
Mm-hmm.
I was always like asking them and showing drawings and things. And then Christin said, you know, rather than you respect me, I want you to surprise me.
Oh wow. No pressure.
Yeah, but for an 80 years old man, it's such a brilliant line, and it shows how open he is in his mind. He doesn't care to be respected. He just wants to be surprised.
Yeah. What are the stories you remember from those comics? There particular storylines or moments from it that you really remember stuck with you from these characters?
The film is based from the Ambassador of Shadows, and that's a great album. But I remember Laureline from my 10 years old childhood, because she was so gorgeous. I was totally in love with her. It was very platonic at 10 years old. But I was amazed to see this girl, how she handled things. And she was holding the house, in fact, not Valerian. Valerian is always being a little pretentious and cracking jokes. And he's like men in general.
But you have a history of writing great female characters and kind of female characters being ballsy and kind of fighting against the norm and stuff, and it's something you've done again and again and again in your films and stuff.
Because that's the vision I have from women. I'm very amazed by them. They look fragile and they're so strong, and then the men, it's exactly the opposite. Sometimes he looks so strong and they're so fragile, and so I like to show the opposite of each. You know, the fragility of the man and the strength of the woman.
How did you go about finding your Valerian and Laurean?
I made a casting. Obviously, I know Valerian and Laureline for many, many years, so I can recognize them. And I met Dane. It took me a minute. After a minute, I knew it was him. Just the tone of his voice and his little smile and his blue eyes. And he was really Valerian. And Cara, same thing. Except that Dane has a lot of experience. He plays, he do plays in Broadway, and he's a talented actor. And Cara was new 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I couldn't even see anything that she have done, any film. So I tested her for a long time. I had tortured her for a long time.
In what way?
Not to torture her, because I need to know what's inside, if she's real.
It's a big ask. It's a big role.
And I have to tell you that you have a wonderful British actress, because she's really granted and so talented. I think she's unstoppable. She can make 10 films, and she's very surprising in the film. I think she's really the revelation of the film.
Well, I think as well, it needs a good role to allow an actress or an actor to show their potential and stuff. And she had that with this, and not necessarily in an easy environment for a new talent. I imagine a lot of the time she didn't have much around her, be it green screen or whatever, not having everything there to act with. So it's an amazing achievement for her.
And I hope I won't sound too pretentious, but I'm gonna tell you a little story, because I've heard people, on the films she have done before, some people say, we don't know if she's an actress because she was not so good, and when a Ferrari doesn't go fast enough, don't blame the Ferrari, blame the driver.
Yeah.
So she is a Ferrari, and I guess I'm not too bad. So sorry.
You're a pretty good driver. I think so.
Sounds pretentious, maybe, but
No, not at all. We've got Ethan Hawke on the show next week.
Yeah.
Who gives a very energetic and brilliant performance as Rihanna's pimp in Valerian. What? How is that?
Can you imagine selling the part to him and say,
So,
Ethan,
tell you
here.
what, pimp to Rihanna.
Yeah, you're gonna be the pimp of Rihanna.
Where do I sign? Immediately. I have some listener questions which are great. Dave says, so many of your films have been about a male protagonist who is almost alone for the ride with a much smarter, much more powerful female character, from the obvious Leon Nikita Taxi, Fifth Element, to pieces like Angel A and Adele Blanc-Sec. As lots of commentators have recently suggested that Wonder Woman is a groundbreaking in its use of female leads, do you feel that your work has been overlooked in this regard? And do you class yourself as a feminist filmmaker? I love that question.
I am not sure I'm a feminist. I think you have to be a woman to be feminist. What I'm trying to do is I try to serve women as I serve the men. And it's my way to show the equity and not to give more to one to the other.
Yeah.
As soon as you make a difference, then you make a statement. And I don't want to make the difference. I work the same on a role for a man than a role for a woman. I try to just to give my best and to treat people on an equitable matter.
I've got another great one here from Mike, who says, if you could make a sequel to one of your films, which would it be? He would like it to be The Big Blue due to Johanna being pregnant. Me too. A little mini Jacques.
Honestly, the only one where I would love to make a remake is Valerian, because it's on the DNA. They are cops and they do investigation. So there is 29 albums. You can do many investigation you want. Some films, like The Big Blue, they all died.
Don't say that. He's crying now hearing this. Everyone's dead.
And so it's same for Leon. They say, can you make Leon too? He said, he's dead. I'm not going to make a film about the plant. All right. So some films, they don't have in their DNA, they don't have a possibility.
Yeah.
And don't force it.
Yeah.
You know what? If you want a remake of Leon, just watch it again.
Yeah. Watch the director's cut. Lucy, though. I hear there might be another Lucy.
Yeah, I heard that.
You heard that too, I'm glad.
Yeah.
This is a great question from Andy Britton, who says, you wrote Taken. Who's driving the boat? Have you heard about this?
No.
It's the last scene where, I don't want to give spoilers away for people who haven't seen the film, but Liam Neeson's character, he does what he needs to do, and then, but who's driving the boat?
Ah, yeah. That's a funny question.
It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I can't. I don't know. I don't know the name of the guy who's driving. But you know what? I guess the guy, he has some earphones and he's listening to music, and he didn't realize that they were fighting like crazy in the boat. He was just like because he's on La Seine and he's enjoying his ride. So the driver is not even aware of what's going on. That's why.
Oh, an absolute pleasure to chat to you, Luc. Thank you so much.
Thank you for all the people who ask questions. Thank you to them.
Thank you, Luc.